The title of this presentation is called Predictions of 2008, Predictions for 2008. And they're based on Gordon Michael Scallion's predictions. Gordon Michael Scallion puts out a little brochure on the predictions. This is a brochure put out by Gordon Michael Scallion. It's called Intuitive Flash, and he's made predictions for 2008, and we're going to discuss some of his predictions. Number one in the predictions, Gordon Michael predictions for 2008 is about the environment. He says that global warming will continue, and that the polar melt-off will cause the ocean levels to rise. He also said that the global warming, in the new administration, whoever gets elected to the presidency, they will sign the Kyoto Treaty on the global warming. Right now, the United States is the only one that's not signed that treaty. But the new administration will sign it, and there will be reports coming out stating that the global warming has increased. And so that's going to be part of what's coming. I have a cousin who lives in California. He has marked. He goes to the beach quite often, and he can see where the ocean is rising. He said it's only a couple inches, but it's going to increase more. And the predictions coming up by Gordon Michael Scallion that it will eventually reach such a high level that the St. Lawrence Seaway that leads from the Atlantic Ocean to the Great Lakes will just become one great lake itself. He also said that a drought in 2008 he predicts a drought in the Midwestern states and Western states. In particular, he said that Georgia, Alabama, and the Southeast, they've had drought in 2007, but they will continue in 2008. The weather will be dominated by high winds, tornadoes, and floods, much the same as it was in 2007. He said, but the biggest damage will be from high winds and floods. Right now, in the U.S. political platform of the people running for president, the war in Iraq is top concern, but he said, Gordon Michael Scallion says that the environment is going to top off the political platform, the environment and the economy. Now, the next predictions are about the economy. Gordon Michael Scallion says that oil will reach $100 a barrel, $100 plus per barrel. And this will cause an increase in the gas to go $4 plus at the pump. So that's coming 2008. He says Gordon Michael Scallion says we are already in a recession. But that recession will become a reality in 2008. In the late 2008, early 2009, we'll be in a depression. Consumer credit will collapse. Now, when you talk about consumer credit, our whole economy is based on credit. We borrow money to produce materials, then we borrow money to sell it, and then we borrow money to buy it. I mean, that's fine as long as people keep buying and keep selling, we keep the economy afloat. But once we start losing jobs, and then people can't afford to buy, then our economy is going to collapse. And he predicts that the consumer credit will collapse in late '08. So we are headed for a depression. Some more predictions about 2008. He said there will be peace in the Middle East between Palestine and Israel. They're working on a peace plan, and this will come out in 2008. Also, it will be the beginning of a semi-autonomous Jerusalem. Jerusalem will be set up to be governed by a separate board, a separate group of individuals. Much like, he said it would be much like the Vatican. The Vatican in Rome is set up. The Jerusalem will be set up much the same way. Spirituality. He said the prediction for 2008 is that spirituality is going to be a big concern of the voters when they start voting for the next president. They're not so much interested in religion or religious concepts, but spirituality. They're looking for somebody that's into spirituality. And what that means is that people need to understand how all things are intertwined. And that's starting this year. In 2008, the people will become aware that the planet is alive. The planet is alive, and that all things on the planet are intertwined. And that will become part of the big voting in the fall of '08. There are some other prophecies I wanted to take a look at here. Scalia's prophecies. He says, who will be the next president? And they asked him, and he said, if there are no new entries into the field, then Lincoln shall return and occupy the White House. And so they asked Scalion, well, who is Lincoln? And he said, Obama. So apparently Obama is a reincarnation of Lincoln, and that Obama is going to win the election. Also, they asked him about extraterrestrials. Are they really from the spirit world? And he said, yes. The visitors that come have returned after long absence. The visitations were commonplace during the latter days of the civilization in Atlantis, and much was shared. They have returned not to save the planet or change events, but to offer spiritual advice, spiritual force, if you will, so that you may choose your own destiny. They can be seen as light bringers, bringing the light here, motivating, stimulating those who can take in such energy to bring about a change. They asked Scalion about the ancient wisdom that was hidden in Egypt, and he said, well, it's in the chambers or the causeway that leads from the Great Sphinx to the temple or the pyramid. It's buried there, and it's many, many feet below the current surface, and that these records will be found the next few years. But he also goes on to say that a second depository of these ancient records can be found in South America. The actual records themselves are very close to being found, and these may even reach the public before those of Egypt. So if any of you have any questions, get in touch with Gordon Michael Scallion. He can be reached at Box 367, West Chesterfield, New Hampshire, 03466. Next, I'd like to talk about the Native Americans' prophecies of the ages that we're coming through. For the Lakota people, we believe that the buffalo represents, the four legs of the buffalo represents the four ages that mankind has evolved through. In our oral histories, we say that mankind has evolved through four ages here on planet Earth. The first age, we reached a high level of technology. But we misused that technology. We created great fire that destroyed mankind. Now those that were warned ahead of time, mankind that warned ahead of time, went underground to survive this Holocaust. Now the destruction brought about by the fire. Let's say that this first age was ruled by the black man. Those that went underground to survive then emerged. It came out to the second age. The second age was ruled by the yellow man, and once again mankind developed high-level technology, but through misuse he destroyed himself. And those that were warned ahead of time went underground to survive. Now this age was destroyed by ice. Those that went underground to survive then emerged in the third age. And once again, mankind developed high-level technology. And once again, mankind destroyed himself through misuse of this technology. The third age was ruled by the red man. And it was the flood, the water, that destroyed the third age. But those that were warned ahead of time went underground and then came back out to start the fourth age. Now, the reference of going underground is nothing more than a reference of going down into it's an allegorical story which refers to going into the collective unconscious, becoming more spiritual to survive. And once you become more spiritual, your intuitive abilities increase so that you're guided to safe places and to go and to be whatever it is that the heavenly spirits want you to be. Now the fourth age, mankind emerged from the underground, came up on, developed a high-level technology again. Now this fourth world is governed and is ruled by the white man. Once again, we have a high-level technology, and we're going to, through misuse, we're going to destroy ourselves. Now, what's going to happen to us is going to be the combination of what destroyed the previous worlds. The prediction is that what's going to destroy the fourth world. Once again, we'll have to go underground to survive. Those that become more spiritual, then will emerge to start the fifth age. Now, the fifth age will be governed by the brown man. The brown man will run the fifth age. So that's the native predictions of what's happening. That ties in very close to what Gordon Michael Scallion is saying about we need to become more spiritual in order to survive. Um, the third thing I like to talk about is myself. This is a book that I have written called Midakrios. We are all related. Everything is related. Everything's connected. This book came about because of a great vision I had. When I was 17 years old, I had a vision on the reservation in South Dakota. It was in the Badlands of South Dakota. It was June 1957. I had gone to a rodeo. After the rodeo, there's no electricity at the rodeo grounds in these days. And after the rodeo, when it got dark, the rodeo was over with. So the rodeo was over with, and we were headed home, and it was dark, and we were going through the Badlands. The roads are gravel, crooked, hilly, and we came around a corner, and here there was a telephone post about that big around, laying all the way across the road. Well, I hit the brakes, and we bumped over that telephone post. No sooner did I bump over that telephone post that I realized it wasn't a telephone post. It was a giant snake, a giant serpent. And chills just went right up my spine, and my hair just stood up on the back of my neck. And my brother and my two cousins were with me, and they wanted to get out and look for the snake. I said, no. I said, they didn't see it. I think they were asleep, or I don't know what happened, but the bump woke them up, and I told them what it was. They said, well, let's get out and look for it. I said, no, it's too dangerous. It's a giant snake. And so we drove around in the dark with our car headlights looking for it. Couldn't find it, so we just left it. And we never did tell anybody because we thought, wow, everybody just laugh at us. They won't say anything. They won't believe us. They'll just laugh at us. 20 years later, the same month, June, I had gone on my first vision quest under a medicine man named Dawson Nohorse. He took me out and put me up on the hill, and first day it was just nothing, and second day was getting hotter and more thirsty, more hungry. Vision quest is 4 days, 4 nights, no food, no water, just sitting on top of the hill praying. Well, third day I had this vision. It was the nighttime, and there was 3 beings that came toward me. They came right toward me. Then they flew around, and they stood right in front of me. One stood in the middle, and 2 stood behind his shoulders. And they had long gowns with the hood on it, and you couldn't see their hands, or you couldn't see their feet, you couldn't see their face. But they stood right in front of me, and the one in the center started talking to me, but it wasn't a voice. It was an understanding. It was like mental telepathy. It just came to me. And the one in the center said that they come here to help me communicate, help me with communication. So that was his job. He was the angel of communication. Right behind his right shoulder was the angel of God, which was like an archangel, and this being was to be with me, to help me present myself when I, do certain, like the book. This angel would be with me. And then behind the left shoulder, the spirit said, I have two parts. The one is the eagle, one is the serpent. The eagle was to represent spirituality and freedom, and the serpent represents a communication with the underworld. The serpent would help me whenever I had questions from the underworld, from the spirit world. The serpent was the messenger. The serpent would bring me the message. And today, as a result of the serpent's guidance, I've been guided to be a dream interpreter. I interpret dreams. Now, this is a gift they gave me, so I don't charge for it. But if somebody wants some information, I have to pray, and then whatever question it is, then the serpent will go get that knowledge and information and give it back to me, and then I tell the people. So there's no charge for this. It's just a gift that I have. Now, the fourth thing I like to talk about is, I wanted to mention the fact that the angel communication, my first book, the angels, see, I really don't feel that I'm an author. I was guided to put this book together and put all this stuff together. And this book here just came to me, and as a result I have written 5 books. This is about Midakriyase, which is a prayer word. It means we're all related, we're all connected. And that's my first book. My second book, they asked me to write about something. This book won an award, top book award, Frankfurt, Germany, and so publisher said, "Well, you need to come up with another book, and I'll give you 6 months." Well, that first book's 12 years of research, so I was thinking, what the heck can I do for a second book? I can't write no book in 6 months. So the only thing I could think of was my own story. So I did an autobiography. And this is life growing up on reservations up in South Dakota. And so this I already knew, so it's not any research. The third book I wrote about the women. It's a book about my mother and her mother and her grandmother. It's an interview, so it's her words. And the last chapter is about Native women, traditional. In our culture, the societies are matrilineal. The women are head of the clans. And so this is about the women's role and responsibilities in our life. And then I've been working at Crazy Horse Mountain for, this is my 15th year. So I decided to write a book about Crazy Horse. So I wrote a book about Crazy Horse. And it was so popular that I did another one on Crazy Horse. I did a comparison of Crazy Horse and Field Marshal Rommel. They call him the Desert Fox. And between Crazy Horse and Rommel, I found 37 similarities. So this is a very popular book also. So these are the 5 books that I've written. And it was the angel of communication that helped me. I really feel that through my research, I found that my first vision that I had in 1957, June of 1957, I'm 17 years old, that was an awakening time. And then I found out later they call it Kundalini, when my chakras were opened up to receive information. So that was my great awakening. I guess the metaphysics, they call it Kundalini. So I was opened up, and so starting in 1957, information started coming to me. And then over the years, it started coming increasingly fast, and then eventually it ended up in book form. Now, the medicine man, I had gone out on the hill, Dawson No Horse, one day at the Sundance. He said to me, he said, "You're going to write a book." And I said, "No, I'm not going to write a book." He said, "Yes, you are. And I want the first copy." So he knew I was going to write a book. Of course, he's the medicine man. He knew that I had spirit guides who were helping me with this. So, and that's how that book came about. Now, the buffalo has the 4 legs. Each leg represents an age, and the beginning of the 5th age is going to start, according to our prophecies, the Mayan calendar. A lot of ancient wise men are now saying that the new age starts in 2012. And Gordon Michael Scallion said that in 2012, the beginning of the new age is going to be when mankind will fully understand how everything is connected, how everything is related. I had mentioned before that we were at the Sundance. Sundance is 4 days, 4 nights. It's a healing ceremony. 4 days, 4 nights, no food, no water. And you dance from sunrise to sunset. And during the dance, you raise your arms and you give thanks to Father Sun. In our traditional way, we call the Sun our Father. We raise our hands, give thanks to Father Sun for all that he's given us. Then we drop our hands to Mother Earth, and then back up to ourselves. So we complete a cycle of prayer, of good energy. In our way, we believe that when we do the Sundance, we have a sacred pipe that we load, put the tobacco in there. The tobacco represents the winged ones, all the green things, the 4-legged, all the living things in the water, everything we put in that pipe. And we smoke that pipe. The smoke represents the spirits of everything that come into you, become one with you. So when you pray, you're praying with and for everything. And that's kind of a different way to think about when you pray. People usually pray and they're asking God for help, but actually in our way, we're praying with and for all things. So we have the Sundance, and we talk about the Father. Sun is our Father, and Earth is our Mother, and this concept will become part of the way mankind views the world and himself by 2012. Gordon Michael Scallion says that this is a prophecy for '08. That movement will start this year, 2008. The concept of Midakriyasi, which is a prayer word, and it means that we're all related, we're all connected. Midakriyasi. This concept will now become, will start to become recognized, and by 2012 it'll be known among all of mankind here on the planet, so that we could save ourselves. Now, earlier I had mentioned that I'm a dream interpreter. This is the time has come, I feel, the time has come to reveal how these things happen. That's why I'm talking the way I'm talking now. For years and years, people wouldn't talk about it for fear that another group of people might take it and misuse it. So we kind of kept it secret, and now we're starting to reveal these things. This is a DVD I put out, Lakota Dream Societies. It's how to interpret your dreams. It's a lecture I gave at the university. It's an hour and a half long, and I talk about dreams, where dreams come from, and how the Indian people had dreams. Societies, we had dream societies long before the Pilgrims got here. And when the Pilgrims came and they said, well, don't believe those old ways anymore, you Indians, don't forget those, it'd be like us. And so they put us on a reservation, told us forget the old ways, but we didn't. A lot of ancient medicine men held on to these things for us and passed them down. So that's what this is how to interpret your dreams. It's also a comparison to Jungian psychology, Jungian dream interpretations. So we have this that we offer. Also, here's a presentation I gave in Channel 4 in Denver. It's about, it's called Lakota Star Connections. It's about where we came from. Earlier I had mentioned Gordon Michael Scullion talked about extraterrestrials coming here. Well, this tells you about where we came from, what star system we came from. We came here 10 million years ago. Edgar Cayce said 10 million years ago we came here as spirit beings. Then we came into the bodies that were here on the planet, and then these spirits manipulating the endocrine system in the body over a period of 3 generations. The spirits molded that body into what you see today, the human being. And he was given free will and given the intellect, which is different than other animals on the planet. We're an animal. We eat like an animal, go bathroom like an animal. We are animals, with one exception. We have a spirit force, and we have free will. We can do what we want. But this is a presentation I gave on Channel 4 about what star system we came from. Now, there's some people, there's some religions talk about, well, I bring it out in there about what star systems we came from, and I talk about how we got here. And so, you know, we didn't come as a physical force. We came as a spirit force, and it took a while to manifest ourselves back into solid form. And so when we die, we're going back to the spirit world, back where we came from. Now, also, I have a set of 4 prophecy videos. This was American Indian Prophecies, where I compare Ojibwe, Hopi, Paiute, Sioux, Maya, Navajo, Aztec. I compared their prophecies with Nostradamus, Edgar Cayce, Ruth Montgomery, Gordon Michael Scullion. So this is an hour in length. These are all hour in length, and these talk about the prophecies. This one is one where I talk about the prophecy, the return of the white buffalo, the Mayan calendar's connection to the quickening, biblical prophecy comparisons, when spiritual unity occur, will tribal government survive, and Black Elk's vision of flowering tree, and who is guiding us into the new age. That's all on this one. So that's an hour and a half. The third one I talk about is more prophecies, and it's issues to be discussed. Black Elk's sacred hoop, will a sweat lodge ceremony survive? Dawson's No Horse's vision of the future, prophecy of the analogous beings, and what is meant by medium of exchange, a dream about the American Indian Prophecy videos. So all of these are an hour in length, and these are all prophecy. Here's the 4th one I put out. It's called Hail Bob Comet Star. Learn the correlation between blue star comet in Hale-Bopp. The blue star and the comet Hale-Bopp. What did the Hopi Lakota have in common about the blue star? Discover the connection between the Bible and Hale-Bopp. Is Hale-Bopp a harbinger for destruction or peace? That's in here also. Why has NASA discontinued publishing information concerning Hale-Bopp? Is there a connection between Hale-Bopp and the 12th planet? Learn how Hale-Bopp is ushering in the second coming. So that's all in this prophecy video number 4. Those are the videos I put out with the help that I get from the outer reaches. With that, I want to thank you for letting me present this small DVD and help you on your path. Gordon Michael Scallion says that how to prepare for 2012 is by helping others. If you want to help yourself, you need to help others. And then it says, how can we prepare ourselves in the years before 2012, and what should we pray for? This is a question to ask Gordon Michael Scallion. And he responded by saying, be thankful that you are alive at this time. Be thankful that you are able to become more aware each day and thereby aid those in need. As given, be in service to others today. So that's part of the reason that I put these out, the books and the DVDs, is to help people prepare for the beginning of the new age, the age of Midakoyase.